My mother-in-law gifted us 5 timeshares in her will, costing us $9,500 annually. We asked her not to do this, and she lost it. Last month, Diane invited us over for dinner to discuss something important. My husband Greg and I thought maybe she wanted to talk about holiday plans or her upcoming knee surgery. Instead, she pulled out a folder with her estate planning documents and announced she was leaving us 5 timeshares in Florida and Arizona. She smiled like she was handing us lottery tickets. Greg asked about the maintenance fees. Diane waved her hand and said it was only about $9,000 a year total. Only $9,000. We both work as teachers. Our mortgage is already tight. We drive a 12-year-old Honda. $9,000 might as well be $1 million. I tried to sound grateful but asked if we could talk about it. Diane explained she bought these timeshares in the 80s when they seemed like a good investment. She used them maybe twice in the last decade. The resorts kept calling her about upgrades and special member events, but she never went. She just kept paying the fees because she thought eventually they would be valuable. Greg and I went home and looked up what to do with inherited timeshares. Every website said the same thing. They are almost impossible to sell. Companies exist just to help people get rid of them, and they charge thousands. Some people literally cannot give them away. The contracts are designed to keep you trapped paying fees forever. One forum post said trying to escape a timeshare is like trying to cancel a gym membership, except it costs 10 times more and lasts your entire life. We called an attorney the next week. He confirmed everything we read online. Getting rid of 5 timeshares would cost us at least $15,000 in legal fees and take over a year. Even then, there was no guarantee. He said the smart move was to reject the inheritance entirely, but that would require Diane to change her will before she passed. So we drove back to her house on a Saturday afternoon. I brought fresh cookies thinking it would soften the conversation. Diane offered us tea, and we sat in her living room with the plastic-covered furniture that nobody was allowed to actually use. Greg explained what the attorney told us. He said we loved her and appreciated the thought, but we simply could not afford $9,000 every year. He asked if she would consider leaving the timeshares to someone else or maybe selling them now. Diane's face turned red. She stood up so fast her teacup rattled. She said we were selfish and ungrateful. She said she spent 40 years building assets to pass down, and we were throwing it back in her face. I tried to explain we were not rejecting her, we were just being realistic about our budget. She cut me off and said if we loved her, we would figure it out. Greg suggested she transfer the timeshares to his brother Kevin, who makes way more money than us and actually likes traveling. Diane shouted that Kevin did not deserve them because he forgot her birthday 2 years ago. She said she already decided and she was not changing anything. Then she told us to leave. We sat in the car for 10 minutes. Greg called Kevin and explained what happened. Kevin laughed and said he would never accept those timeshares either because he knew they were a scam. He said Diane tried to convince him to buy into a timeshare program 15 years ago, and he researched it and told her no. She did not talk to him for 3 months. The next week, Diane left a voicemail saying she spoke to her attorney and confirmed the timeshares would go to us no matter what. She said it was her final decision and we needed to respect her wishes. Greg called her back and tried one more time to have a calm conversation. He offered to sit down with her and go through the numbers together. She hung up on him. 2 weeks later, Greg's Aunt Carol called. She said Diane was telling everyone at church that we were trying to steal her estate and leave her with nothing. Carol asked what actually happened, so we explained the whole situation. She said Diane did the same thing to Greg's cousin 15 years ago with a different property. The cousin ended up accepting it and lost thousands trying to maintain it before finally walking away.